name's Rich Hayden. I own Virtual Reality Racing Club. We're here at Goodwood Festival of Speed. I'm here with Purple Sector Performance, which is a race driver training, all levels, club championship, all the way up to Le Mans level. What we do is we help them out with race simulation and driver coaching, and we do that using our SimRace Pro simulators, which you see behind me. They're really high-level simulation. We use virtual reality to make sure that the immersion for the driver is as best as it could be, and giving them the accuracy to be able to follow the right lines and be as accurate with their driving style as they can be. One of the things we use with that is the HTC Vive Pro headset with a real high resolution. It's fantastic for driver training. It's the only way to drive a racing simulator. The average speed improvement or time improvement for a driver, a pro driver, going from screens to VR, is minimum is 1 second a lap, and the average is anywhere between 1.5 and 2 seconds per lap.
Ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to round 5 of the Virtual Reality Racing Club Touring Car eSeries, brought to you in association with MSL Motorsport Consultancy and HeatingShop.ie. Once again, it's Alex Goldschmidt and MSL Motorsport Consultancy's very own Martin Jones in the Coventry box here and in the Garden of England. Martin, a track of major significance, Brands Hatch, back just after World War II. It became the sort of like the first. I think it was the 16th of April 1950 that the opening meeting was scheduled for the first purpose-built post-war racing circuit in the UK, and it's here at Brands Hatch, a circuit that you know well, obviously, with your days working alongside 1992 Formula One world champion Nigel Mansell, who took his first win here in '85 and then set the lap record on a 1:09.6 in the FW11 Williams Honda. It's a great track, isn't it, that we're here at?
It's one of those iconic ones, and I'm just so pleased the guys are going to go around the GP circuit. Shame somebody built a housing estate at the end and then complained about into a circuit. This is one of the all-time greats, I think. Mansell dominated its first win in Formula One here in October '85. Still remember the hangover. And he followed it up with a win the next year. Again, tonight this is going to be great. This circuit suits these cars, and the weight's still there. So let's see how it goes.
Yes, 2.433 miles, 3.908 kilometres. It's going to host the second round of the 2020 British Touring Car Championship, which Senna Proctor and Chris Smiley will be competing in. It's gotten very, very tight at the top 10, all covered by just 63 points coming into this round, but by a mere whisker, by just 2 points. You can now see that we've got actually the results from what happened at Barcelona. It was a clean sweep for the MSL Motorsport Consultancy Hyundai i30 of Senna Proctor, who not just took pole position, he also won both races. We had Chris Smiley making it an MSL Motorsport Consultancy 1-2. Of course, Barcelona was unfortunately the last time that we would see Ryan Elliott, who has had to withdraw from this championship, and we have had Max Bird now take his place in the championship side of things, and he will be running in this. Dave Marshall leads Jack McIntyre, and this is what's really interesting here, Martin, is that it is a VRRC Sim Racing Team 1-2. You've then got Rob Butler, and then it's the two MSL Motorsport Consultancy cars of Alex Toth-Jones and Senna Proctor. And that's not exactly, I think that's a bit more than close for comfort. That's about 21-point spread between the top 5 going into this round here at Brands.
Yeah, that's what's making it really interesting. All of these guys are going to be carrying ballast, and it's who comes up from behind, really. It's it's going to be fantastic. And it's, you were right, Senna absolutely bossed it last time out. That was a great effort. And Senna and Chris are back in British touring car action, Donington, August the 1st and 2nd. So that's gonna be great as well. Everybody's anxious to get back out there.
Yes, indeed. That's next week itself. So very much the case that things are getting well and truly geared up and ready to go out on circuit. I'll be heading over to continental Europe next weekend when Chris and Senna head to Donington Park. That's a fantastic circuit. Had the opportunity of commentating there last year with Scott Woodwiss on the Caterham weekend and the Mazdas as well, MX5 Championship. So that was pretty good as well. But so far, Senna Proctor actually did the Alonso trick here in the Virtual Reality Racing Club Touring Car eSeries. He was the first 2-time winner out of the whole series. And it started with Dave Marshall, then Brian Elliott, Jack McIntyre, Chris Smiley took a win at Zolder, Rich Hayden at Monza, followed by Isaac Smith, and then Senna did the double. So we will have, I'm hoping, 2 different race winners, but with the way things are at the minute, Senna has actually secured the most amount of points. He's actually done the clean sweep because he took 2 fastest laps and 2 wins and a pole position, giving him a maximum score at Circuit de Catalunya Barcelona of 118 points. And we had a brief chat, didn't we, Martin, that Chris Smiley, if he gets a good run around here, he could possibly really make an impact in the championship, couldn't he?
He's going to be out. If he's had any luck in this, it's all been bad. So I'm expecting big things from him today. He should be really on it.
So they're coming into the last 5 minutes of practice here at Brands Hatch. As here's Kobe Leakins in the number 44 Alfa Romeo Giulietta coming through. And this is a real test here, Martin, because you've got great corners. I mean, like say, you're going through Hawthorns, you've got Dingledale, Sheen Curve, the left-hander at Stirling's, which takes you on the run down to Clearways to complete the lap. And in many respects, I remember, a couple of years ago, Danny Puncadea, who was racing, he's been racing in GT3s, but also most recently DTM. He had an absolute tank slapper in his Mercedes AMG GT3, and I think it was I remember Bruce Jones being on the microphone and just said, how on earth did he save that? But it's a different kettle of fish when you're in a front-wheel drive touring car, and especially when you have to consider what ballast you're running as well.
Yeah, absolutely. There's only a couple of really clear overtaking points here, and the rest of it is up to you and how you get your elbows out. So Clearways into Clark Curve out into Brabham Straight sets you up for Paddock Hill Bend, and then you're down Halewoods Hill into Druids. Alex was very unlucky last year. It was almost, he lost his maiden win thanks to a technical issue on his Aston Martin GT4. 30 odd seconds in the lead, and that was sad. So there's your big thing. Coming out of Surtees, coming down to the Pilgrims Dip, etc. Hawthorne Hill. That's a big, bold overtaking manoeuvre. So let's see what happens. This is going to be another great one.
Yeah, very much the case. I remember Mike Rockenfeller doing 3 wide at race 1 at Brands Hatch in 2018, and I spoke with him afterwards. He said, "Yeah, that was pretty good, wasn't it?" We now get underway with our single 20-minute qualifying session here. So the race format, it is a 20-minute qualifying session, then we will have 2 20-minute races. The second one will have a reverse grid top 10. Andy Mellors has a bit of a moment already, and that is on cold tyres.
Whoops.
Yeah. That was definitely synchronised there, Martin. But I think, you've already said about Chris possibly, having an opportunity here. I think, we're going to see quite a few drivers. I think Dave Marshall and Jack McIntyre are going to have their work cut out for them on this particular occasion. But then I'm looking down the field. I think, Kenny Press had a good showing at Barcelona last time out. He took a total of 70 points to the Peugeot. For any potential reason, could be strong around here. And if he gets it right with that car, he's the only Peugeot on the field. But James West, gamer muscle, he took a podium last time out in the second race at Barcelona after Senna got away and sort of ran away with it, really.
Yeah, he had a good time out, didn't he? He just seems to enjoy himself, so good on him. It's good to see Max Bird going well in free practice. That was good just behind Chris Smiley. So yeah, should be good, as I said. There he is. He's so competitive. He's just he loves it.
I know. I wonder, and he just briefly put in the fastest lap of a 1:49. But Jack McIntyre with 140 kilos of ballast has just gone and put in a 1:46.694. So in many respects, that's going to be quite interesting. And whilst we're actually in the early throes of qualifying, if we can, we'll have a look at some of the prizes in the remaining calendar, because we are now at pretty much the halfway point here for the VRRC Touring Car eSeries. I know that there is a lot of work going on behind the scenes from Rich Hayden, and so effectively this is where it's really going to spice things up, I think, Martin, because we've got this, then we've got Snetterton 300. Here is James West coming across the start-finish line down in towards Paddock Hill Bend, which when I've spoken to the likes of Timo Scheider, Robert Wickens, who formerly raced in the DTM, they said it is the best corner in motorsport, and with the blind apex, and you are fully committed, it's not that easy, is it?
No, it's a great corner. We had the Mansell driving school there when it was back in the Russell days, and I did steal a lot of opportunity to come up here and have a good play. It was that is a great bend. Even on a Formula Ford, which these days I'm not exactly built for, but back in the day it was great falling off the cliff there. It was just a great feeling.
Right, so the times are really, really coming in now. Jack McIntyre, Andy Mellors, Rich Hayden, Dave Marshall, and Senna Proctor are leading the top 5. So it's changing all the time. And Rob Butler's just gone quickest on a 1:30.075. Konstantin Kletzer from Austria is in 4th place, and he's only 7 tenths off. And at a circuit like this, Martin, it is about getting it. So Smiley's just gone top. That's brilliant work there. 3.5 tenths of a second, a 1:30.075. This is going to give him really good practice ahead of round 2 of the British Touring Car Championship this year, isn't it?
It's a very good sighter for him, that's for sure. And, I just again, I marvel at the graphics. I keep banging on about that, but I think you've got to give credit where credit's due. You can even actually see the pixelation there. The grass it needs a cut.
Yeah, it's looking a bit weathered at the outside of the steel Armco barriers going through certain points on the circuit. But as we're into the fourth quarter of qualifying, we'll have a look at some of the prizes in the remaining calendar here for the VRRC Touring Car eSeries. So after this week here at Brands Hatch Grand Prix, we will head to the Snetterton 300 circuit on the 28th of July. Then it is the Sepang International Circuit on the 4th of August in Malaysia. Then it's China's Shanghai International Circuit on the 11th of August. Then it's the Mount Panorama, the Mountain, Bathurst on the 18th of August. That is our penultimate round, and then Circuit of the Americas concludes the 10-week season. And as you can see on the middle of your screen, there is a set of OBP Esports pedals for our champion, for our runner-up, a SimLab P1X chassis. A third prize, third in the championship, will get a Fanatec SQ shifter, a Thurstmaster T-LCM for fourth, and a £100 Ebuyer voucher for fifth place overall. And one of the key things that we need to let you know about is that VRRC is open, as we said last week, for tuition, but also the amount of, we spoke about this last week, Martin, about the amount of involvement that MSL Motorsport Consultancy has with the VRRC. Now, for those that have already seen Alex Toth-Jones's Porsche Sprint Cup GB livery, which harks back to the first ever Le Mans victory from Porsche, Rich was actually instrumental in helping to design that for you guys, and that came out absolutely brilliantly. That was a lovely looking livery on Alex's car for this season.
I tell you, it's just a stunning race car, and great work from Brendan Beacon, colleague at MSL, Rich and Rory at Raw Creative. The concept was there. They just nailed it, and it is a joy to behold when it's on the circuit. And he's out again next month, Donington, the 15th, 16th. So looking forward to that. Whoops. Oh dear. So,
yeah,
somebody had a shopping trolley accident there.
Yeah, I think that might have been Rob Butler. I might have seen just going through into the pit lane, and all of a sudden there's a Hyundai in front and he goes just straight through it. But you can see they are pushing like crazy. That's Andy Mellors, I think, that's just gone very wide coming out of Graham Hill Bend as Andy Carroll goes up the inside through Surtees and then onto heading towards sort of Pilgrim's Drop and then Hawthorne Hill. And then this is where it gets really, really interesting, because there's so much commitment that you've got to have in this at this circuit, as Andy Carroll goes through Hawthorne Hill into the right at Hawthorns, then it'll be Westfield, and then it'll be Dingle Dell before Sheen Curve, Sterling within clearways.
Just the lines here that they're taking are just spot on. These guys must put a lot of work into this. This is great to see. Not a circuit you can get to drive on unless you're one of the elite, because it's noise restricted. But certainly that back section coming down Pilgrims into Hawthorne, it's great. And on the brakes, they revised the sort of the Dingle Dell bit, and they've called it the Sheen's chicane or bend now. Has it spoilt it? It was quite great seeing Jerry Marshall in the big old Thunderbird cars going through there. That was always great fun. But it's good to see this circuit again.
Very much the case, even though it is in a virtual sense. Here's Josh Stanton making a return in the number 99 Accelerate Hyundai i30, as he'll be heading his way through down into Clearways and into Park Curve, and despite the fact that obviously there's two variations of this, as we've just had Max Bird.
Good on him.
He's
nice.
Definitely
nice one, Max.
And you know what I said about Kenny Press earlier on, Martin? He's gone second quickest with a 1 minute 29.780. Then it's Chris Smiley, 17,000 slower. Then it's Konstantin Kletzer, the top four already sub 1 minute 30 here, as Max Bird has really. Now let's look at it this way. He was competing in the Mini Challenge UK eSeries, if memory serves me correctly, and now he's come in the number, this will be the number 12. So he did replace Max Coates last time out. So Max will be back in the 71 Honda, as far as I'm aware. But I think Max has got the right car under him, because that looks to be absolutely planted there.
Yeah, and he's a very good pedaler, and he's back out with the Mini next month as well. So all of these guys, this is a great sighter for them, and they get to go and play with their their cars next month, which is it's got to be good. I'm just looking through the. That's really tight. Top 10.
Yeah, just over a second, as Senna Proctor's just gone 5th. And that is with quite a significant amount of ballast there as well. So, in many respects, he looks to be getting quicker and quicker. And that was a 1 minute 30.264. Here's Dave Marshall coming through clear waves and into Clark Curve. Now, he is currently P10 at the moment, second off the pace from Max Bird as he's going to come across the stripe. Now, does he improve? I think that might have. I'm just keeping an eye on there. He was slightly slower, 1 minute 30.715. Here's Isaac Smith, who didn't really have a good run at all in Barcelona last time out. So he's currently running P14, and he is currently 7th in the standings at the minute. So I think Isaac's got a bit of work to do here at Brands Hatch in the 123 Hyundai. So we'll see how that all happens for him. So that's through Hawthorns and then down towards Westfield. But it's just great seeing these, it's sort of like you've got a right at Hawthorns, a right at Westfield, a right at Dingledell, and then you make it 4 in a row at Sheen Curve. I mean, it's just such a great momentum-carrying sort of set of corners, wouldn't you agree, Martin?
Yeah, it's just, again, another one to hook it up. If you've done your practice, done the homework, you can really hook up a quick lap as long as you don't get held up.
Very much the case. So we'll see if Isaac Smith, but he's dropped a position because Jack McIntyre, second in the standings, now goes up to P11 on a 1 minute 30.528. And I think again, Max Bird has gone and put in a 1 minute 29.518. So I think he did that on his last lap. So Max Coates he's up into second. I think is he up into second? That looks to be the case. He's done a 1 minute 29.733 in the 71. Well, unless it's showing up double, because I'm just sort of trying to keep an eye on both the stream that we've got being shown to us. A big thank you to Simply Race. Sarah Bird again on YouTube goes, come on Max Bird, we've got quite a few hopefully watching out there, so a big thank you. Well, we're actually going via multiple streams here, the VRRC Facebook, YouTube channels, Simply Race YouTube and Twitch, the Downforce Racing Facebook page as well, amongst others, Let's Race. So there should hopefully be quite a bit of a moment there for Max Bird going through Graham Hill Bend. And that is somewhere where you don't really want to get it wrong. And I have seen it before where I think it was a few years ago when Brands Hatch made its return to DTM. And I think it was the year that Andy Prio was running with BMW. And Coates has gone quickest. Oh, that's a brilliant lap. 1 minute 29.280. So the returning Max Coates. I think he's definitely had plenty of cups of tea to get himself primed and ready for tonight. So that's definitely seen him in good account. But Max has raced around here plenty of times. He's also been helping he's the head of driver development at Team Brit, who have been testing at Brands Hatch today once again. So he's been down there a couple of times with them, just helping them get ready for their respective Brit car campaigns this season. But he's going to be running in the Mini Challenge UK this year as well. Yeah,
great. Chris Smiley, he's just popped a quick one in, and 6 minutes to go. This is going to be good fun. It was good to see Max Bird actually finding track limits in qualifying. He's sort of finding out where he's going and what the car will do. So it's good. He fancies this.
Oh, definitely. I think you can tell just by the way he just literally came out and did 2 laps and went, "Hello everybody, I'm here." Oh, that's a bit of a runway from John Cole there in the 302 Honda, trying to get that was through Graham Hill Bend, and that's I've seen the British truck racing guys go down there, and I think I remember 2012 where we had Storm Katie, I think it was, or no, it was later than that. When we had Storm Katie on the April bank holiday weekend, we had the 2 Schmidt brothers from the Netherlands, and they were going hammer and tongs at it, and they both collected each other going through Graham Hill Bend. And that's what we don't want with 2 like 1,000 brake horsepower, several thousand horsepower trucks, like literally just ripping each other's the body panels apart. That was definitely a sight to behold. You needed to be there to believe it. And Max Coates again has gone even quicker, 1 minute 29.091. You said about this, Martin, that it was going to get really interesting towards the end of the session, and Max Coates is really changing things a little bit here with this qualifying performance. So let's not forget, he has got absolutely no ballast.
Yes, there you go. I think we've answered our questions and the questions of everybody watching. That's the difference. Plus, he's quick as well. Anyway, let's give him credit. But, yeah.
Oh yeah, I've known Max. I've known Max since his Janetta days. So I remember he gave me a passenger ride in the G40 Autosport International a couple of years ago, and I remember having difficulty getting in the car. And then I got out of it, and I had the biggest Cheshire Cat grin on my face.
Well, I was going to say, why did you want to do that to yourself? That's just.
Well, I mean, when Max said, "Do you want to hop in? I'll give you a passenger," I would be like, "Yeah, why not? I'll give it a shot." And then all of a sudden, there you go.
Right. Yeah. Oh, best of luck to you if you do that again. Yeah, there's. Oh, here we go.
So that is
Senna
and Alex Toth-Jones. Pretty much, they look to be working rather well together on that particular part of the circuit. So I think that was going through in towards Hawthorne, possibly.
Yeah, and now's the place for Alex. Now's the time for Alex to get close, get the toe, certainly onto the back, the out of Clark Brabham straight, and see what he can do. Just might have been a bit of a lock-up. Oh, here we go. Now this is the place to get really tight.
Mm-hmm. You always see them, I think, either during the races or during qualifying, where they will actually go as close to the right-hand wall as they dare. Here comes Max Bird. I haven't seen whether he is, now has he improved on this lap. No, that was a 1 minute 32.4.
Yeah, I think he was just lining up a quick one. Let's see what he does this lap.
Yeah, so he'll have another couple of laps in the bag, really, to be completely honest with you, Martin. So
yeah, there's a bit of traffic he's coming up to now. So, but don't back out. Let's see where they get out. If they get out the way, wide there, but he seems to like that line.
Yeah, and just up ahead, I've just noted that Chris Smiley is just up ahead of him in the number 22 Hyundai. I have another car just up ahead, and that is Luke Whitehead in the 21. And I think, you can just see that Chris has actually let Max through. So Chris is actually looking to gear up to his own flying lap and see if he can get past Max and get any closer, or even try to get pole position from Max Coates. But I think with over 4.5 tenths of a second to find, and we've got less than 2 minutes in the session, it is a tall order to ask of the driver.
Yeah, he's got this lap. He's got one more lap after this, and that's it. You've got to go for it. Max has backed out.
Yeah, I think he's going to try and do what he can. And he did lose a bit of time on that particular front. Yeah.
Right, here we go. Let's watch this.
Okay, so into the last 75 seconds of the session, we're on board with Chris Smiley as he goes up Hayward's Hill, up into the tight right-hander at Druids.
Yeah, it doesn't want to go in there, does it?
No, I mean, the thing is, with a front-wheel drive car, you've got to rotate it around, and he actually uses as much curve as he can on the into Graham Hill before going onto the Cooper Straight, and then into the left at Surtees.
Yeah, this is a great angle. Somebody's gone off there, but that's one out of the way for him.
Yeah. So
and look at this this section now. This is amazing, and so quick into here. Hard on the brakes. Just let it drift out. There you go. Perfect.
Yeah, very good job here from Chris Smiley. That looks very neat and tidy. Max Coates is in the pit. Senna Proctor, I think, might have called it a day for qualifying at this particular moment. As again, Chris Smiley looking very, very handy around here at Brands Hatch. So the timer now So he'll come under the bridge with around about 5 seconds remaining on the clock, through into clearways for what is going to be the final time of his qualifying session. Through into clock, putting the power down and getting as close to the right-hand wall as much as possible. Let's see, is there an improvement? Luke Whitehead goes up to 9th.
No improvement, but it looked good.
Yeah, it was a one. Well, he wasn't actually that far off. He was just under 0.3 off of his best lap. That was a 1 minute 29.823. Here's Dave Marshall, and Marshall is down in 13th position on this particular occasion. So he's managed to keep himself at the front of the front of the standings, but he hasn't had the best run of luck with regards to having the maximum amount of success ballasts. Now Marshall will come across the line in the 66 Honda Civic. Let's just see what happens here. Does he go and improve? He goes up to P12 on that attempt, 1.361 seconds, as that effectively is it for the session. So Dave Marshall is followed closely by Jack McIntyre, who is within 0.007 of a second of him on that particular lap. So even with 10 kilos more ballast, Dave Marshall is literally a fraction ahead, not just in the standings, Martin, on overall side of things with just 2 points, but 7/1000 between the VRRC Hondas in qualifying there.
Yeah, it's really interesting because we're watching a race at the front, but we've also got the championship race in the middle of the pack, so all to play for.
So it is a Honda 1-2 with Max Coates taking pole position by over 0.4 of a second from Max Bird in the number 12. Chris Smiley in the 22 Hyundai takes P3. Great showing from Kenny Press, his best qualification effort of the season thus far, in 4th, ahead of Austria's Konstantin Kletzer in the 43. Isaac Smith has a great resurgence in this session, 6th ahead of Senna Proctor. Kobe Leakins in 8th, Luke Whitehead in 9th, Rob Butler in 10th. Then we've got Josh Stanton, Dave Marshall, Jack McIntyre, and then we've got the number 13 of Derek in the Volkswagen Golf, John Cole, Andy Carroll, looks like Mikko Raskinen, and then we've also got Rich Hayden down in 18th, Andy Mellors, Paul Laramie, Alex Toth-Jones actually ending up in 21st ahead of Harry Omerod, and James West rounding out the top, the entire 23-strong field, but all covered by just 2.7 seconds here, Martin.
Yeah, as I said, 2 races in this, should be spectacular. I'm looking at that graphic, and they've put the token houses in on the straight. Oh, that's funny. If only it was like that.
Yeah, it's going to be really, really interesting. I think we should hopefully be able to speak to our pole position driver, and congratulations, Max Coates. Welcome back, first of all, my friend. And that was a great job. You trumped the whole field by, especially Max Bird, by 0.4 of a second. He replaced you last time out at Barcelona because you were otherwise engaged.
Yeah, he did a good job last weekend. I had to have a watch back after, but yeah, he did good job for me, and now looks like we might have a little bit of a battle here.
And that's quite good to see a Honda 1-2 in qualifying, but then Kenny Press has actually looked quite strong. Chris Smiley's had some good results, but he has had a bit of misfortune along the way. Apart from those two, who else do you see that might be possibly those that might be able to get into this battle between you and Max at the front of the field?
I'm not too sure. I'm just behind me. There's a red Hyundai. I think that's Chris Smiley. So
yep.
I'd imagine he's going to be not too far away. But I honestly think with the weight penalties that quite a number of drivers have got, that is why I've got the pace advantage. I don't think it's down to any magic that I particularly am doing. I think it is purely down to that. So yeah, I'm hoping that form can continue into the race, really.
Well, Max, all the very best of luck for this evening, and good to have you back here on the VRRC. And before I forget, many congratulations on your Mini Challenge UK eSeries Championship title.
Yeah, thanks very much. It was went all right round here last time, so I'm hoping that I might notch a few more wins tonight. But hopefully, I'll get to chat to you again a little bit later on.
Indeed. Okay. Well, all the very best of luck, Max Coates, in the 70. from Elite Motorsport is our pole sitter for race 1, which will be up momentarily here for the VRRC Touring Car eSeries. Brought to you in association with MSL Motorsport Consultancy and heatingshop.ie. But Martin, that was a very, very honest account there from Max, wouldn't you agree?
You wouldn't get anything else from him. He's a top chap. Do like him.
Exactly. So in just a few moments' time, we will go racing for the first time here at Brands Hatch. 2 20-minute races, and we look forward to, myself and Martin will look forward to calling the action as it happens here in the Garden of England. So we'll be back in just a moment. Welcome back to continuing coverage of the VRRC Touring Car eSeries here at round 5 at Brands Hatch Grand Prix with myself, Alex Goldschmidt, and Martin Jones, your commentators. A big thank you to Mike Yao from Simply Race for providing the fantastic live stream, which will continue all the way through to Circuit of the Americas season finale on the 25th of August. But Martin, what attracts people to come to Brands Hatch Grand Prix circuit apart from seeing all the racing drivers? It's just I would say it's the general atmosphere, seeing, like say the grandstands and the hospitality suites all packed up, packed out, ready to spectate all the action, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, and the view from the general galleries is fantastic. It's here in Donington, you can see quite a bit of the action, and they do like that. Plus, I have to say, MSV have done a great job with the circuits they've taken on, and long may it continue. Really love the work that Dr. Jonathan's done and his team.
Indeed, and it has provided some great action over the past few decades, but we are literally just moments away for the first of 2 races this evening. So we have a 20-minute standardised grid race, and then the top 10, we will have a reverse grid draw, and then we will go into battle for a further 20 minutes. And I think just from having seen so much machinery around here, I remember the first time I ever actually came to Brands Hatch. And I will be completely honest here, Martin, it was in 1985. We missed out on Formula One qualifying by about 20 minutes. And we ended up watching, I think it was the British Formula 2s at that time. So we watched them sort of going around the circuit, hammer and tongs. That was my first ever experience at a circuit, and I was just 8 years old at that time.
Yeah, I have to say that was one of the is one of the drawbacks. The getting here, if you're late, it can be a bit tricky. But if you get in here, get a good motorhome and get settled, you're in for a good time. And the old bar at the top of the hill is brilliant as well of an evening. So I'll talking about the old days then. But, yeah, reminiscing, enjoying it. Let's get on with this. This should be a belter.
So virtual air temperature is 15 degrees Celsius, and track temperature is just 2 degrees higher, 17 degrees Celsius. But one of the biggest points about Brands Hatch Grand Prix, and even if you're racing on the Indy circuit, is the approach to Paddock Hill Bend when you have a standing start formation. And they are lined up on the grid, ready to go for race 1. So we have Max Coates and Max Bird, so it's Battle of the Maxes at the front of the field ahead of Chris Smiley and Kenny Press, Konstantin Kletzer and Isaac Smith rounding out the top 3 rows with Senna Proctor, Bobby Leakins, and it looks like Rob Butler and Josh Stanton are now rounding out the top 10 as soon as we get...
Yeah, here we go. Inside line, all important. Good start from the front 3.
But also Max Bird.
Oh,
no, that's Kenny Press has gone round the outside. He's gone a bit tail happy, going through Paddock Hill as it's 2x2. Looks like Bobby Leakins is side by side with...
Great start there from Max Bird.
Oh, he absolutely launched it. I think he did a front-wheel drive variant of what Colin Turkington would do in a BMW 330iM Sport, which is he'll be defending his title this year. As that's a bit of a run wide from Chris Smiley and also Isaac Smith. Kenny Press still trying to hold station going into Surtees through on lap number 1 here, but then Max Coates has really come out firing on all cylinders, and it's nearly side by side.
Here we go.
Drop. Now let's see who's going to have the bigger commitment. As Max Coates going towards the outside. If he gets that through Hawthorns, no, he's going to run wide. He's going to open the door slightly for Chris Smiley. So Smiley fires the Hyundai up the inside, just behind. Senna Prox has got past Kenny Press. Yeah, fantastic move there. Oh, a little bit of Rubbings racing there. Now, Max has raced in touring cars before himself. When the Infiniti Q50 first made its debut with the Help Our Heroes team, if memory serves me correctly, a few years ago. So Max now down into P3. Isaac Smith really has got the fire in the belly, wanting to make up for what happened as we are fast approaching as... Oh, up the inside goes Max Coates on Chris Smiley. Oh, he really loses the back end through Clearways and through into Clark Curve. Oh, Isaac Smith's absolutely loving this. He's got the opportune moments. He's got the inside run on Max Coates up into P3, heading through Paddock Hill Bend, and he's got the job done. So Senna Proctor and Kenny Press, there's a bit of a lock up there. I think it might have been from the Peugeot, but Press is back on the is on the case with Proctor, and he's gone up the inside towards Druids. Smith up the inside of Coates for P3, and this is allowing Max Bird to get away by a country mile. I think he's actually gone from Kent into Sussex this particular moment as Isaac Smith runs wide coming through Graham Hill, the exit of Graham Hill Bend. But already we are less than 3 minutes down in this first race here, Martin, and it's just absolutely brilliant.
Well, you know, I was saying there was only a couple of overtaking places, but they're actually proving me very wrong here. Okay, there's a bit of pixelating going on, but there you go. Happy days.
So that's if he gets that. He's doing that again. Is Max Coates? He's going round the outside of Isaac Smith. They bang door panels through Hawthorns. Max runs wide, but he's still kept the foot planted through, and he goes through Westfields. That's impressive. That's very impressive indeed. Now Isaac Smith comes back as Kenny Press loses out 3 positions. He's lost out to Proctor, Butler, and looks like Dave Marshall has come up down up to 7th place. So Kenny Press down into 8th, head of Bobby Leakins, Jack McIntyre, Konstantin Kletzer all the way down in 11th position. But Alex Toth Jones has made a great resurgence up the field so far, up into P16. And here's the battle for what is 5th position. Senna Proctor leading that at the moment, trying to close in as Max Bird, sorry, not Sam Bird, who's just recently switched to Jaguar Formula E for season 7. It's Max has now done a 1 minute 30.245. So we're getting quite close as there's a move. I think that's Kenny Press up the inside of Bobby Leakins up into Druids. That is for position, and that is for 8th place. Here comes Jack McIntyre, 140 kilos of ballast on that Honda Civic as Leakins trying to send it up the inside of the 37 Honda, and here comes Konstantin Kletzer. Oh, he definitely darted out from behind Bobby Leakins and gets past the Alfa Romeo before they even hit the apex on Surtees, going down towards Pilgrim's Drop. Captivating action here at Brands Hatch.
Yeah, seeing some great driving and great lines and aggressive overtaking. Not as messy as the previous rounds we've seen, but there's a fair amount going on.
Now, Konstantin Kletzer did actually mention that on his Facebook page when he shared it, saying, "I don't know how I'm going to fare against these English fellows," and those were the words that he used. But the Austrian's holding good account of himself, as Dr. Lokos on the Simply Race YouTube channel says, "Go on Dusty Derrick," and Dusty at the moment is currently sitting in P20. Field is currently being rounded out by John Cole in the 302. As here is Max Coates trying to go toe to toe again. As Max Bird goes even quicker, that's by over 3/10. He's put in a 1 minute 29.732. And that's about half a second off of Max Coates' qualifying pace this evening.
We've seen this in all the other races. Is if somebody has the good fortune to get clear, they go. The other guys are just holding each other up, and they are racing. This is going to be great fun.
Definitely, as we go into the second quarter. So we've got 14 minutes and 47 seconds left to go, plus an additional lap as Coates gets back up the inside of Smiley. And that's a very nice move on the approach into Surtees. So got the move done before the apex, but through Pilgrim's Drop, down the Hawthorne Hill they go. And Chris Smiley really had the run on Max Coates there. He's going to try and go to the outside, so he's trying to take a leaf out of Max Coates' book, but not on that particular occasion through Hawthorns. Here's Kenny Press now back up into 7th, having got past Dave Marshall, who's got the maximum amount of ballast of 150 kilos. And Konstantin Kletzer in the 43 Volkswagen Golf is moving forward at quite a considerable pace. So that Volkswagen looks very, very well planted, but obviously there's a bit of a difference when you have 150 kilos of ballast and you have none at all. And that is what has really changed the dynamic of the championship. Oh, bit of a drama there for Billy dropping down the field. I think there might have been an incident there. You can get a replay. That will be quite interesting to see, because he was battling away with quite a few drivers. I think Andy Mellors was probably one of them, but we'll have to wait for a replay to see, as Max Coates sets a personal best. So does Rob Butler, so does Kenny Press, so does Konstantin Kletzer, who is not that far behind Marshall. And it is down to just under 6.5 tenths of a second. There is Kenny Press trying to get away from the championship leading Honda at the moment, who's only leading from Jack McIntyre. But at the moment, the way things are, I'm just having a look at seeing who is the highest place of our top 5 at the moment. Well, Senna Proctor actually is that. No, it's Senna Proctor is that person, because he's currently P5, but Rob Butler, who is actually ahead of Senna in the standings, is actually just behind him on the road, about 9 tenths of a second adrift. But this is what we wanted to see. We wanted to see a race where things would get a bit more elongated, but you would still see the great sort of cat and mouse games between the drivers here, Martin.
Yeah, it's settling down a little bit at the moment. Whether there's time management going on, we can't see that graphic, or I certainly can't. But this is again all going to be messy in the last 5 laps.
Yep, as here is a battle between James West. Oh, who gets a nudge from behind. This is over 17th position with Rich Hayden. Now, we did see that Rich, what was it? He said, I've done when we were talking to him before Barcelona got underway, and he went, I've done 105 laps and I'm still P10. I hate to think how many laps he has done of Brands Hatch. Not just before this race, but probably since he's been, running VRRC.
Well, if you can't get hold of him on the phone, you know where he is. That's quite funny.
He's behind the wheel.
Absolutely.
But he's managed to, he's actually the Audi in an Alfa Romeo sandwich at the moment, because he's got James West up ahead, and you've got Cobby Leakins, who had that moment a bit earlier on, behind. And they are battling over what is going to be effectively de facto 17th position. Alex Toft-Jones, in the meantime, has got past Harry Omerod, as Rich Hayden will try and slingshot his way down the Cooper Straight down into Surtees. And the Audi tries to make the move. West to the outside. Leakins up the inside.
Yeah.
Gets past West, and he's going to try and see if he's got the run on the Audi. But the Audi has a bit more top end.
Yeah, this will be
grunt.
This will be a great sprint down to the down to Hawthorne. Yeah, he's held him. He's sweated him out there on the outside. Oh, good blocking.
Yeah, I think he just sort of got him a bit hung out to dry there, but Rich Hayden then manages to get through as Leakins goes into the clutches of West through the other part of this. And here is Game of Muscle. He's streaming live to over 56,000 people. And he's actually, as now Cobby Leakins goes up the inside of him to take 18th position on that particular point a few turns ago, so that would have been through Sterling's.
I just hope there weren't any lip readers out there. I didn't like that.
Yeah. I think at the end of the day, for those people watching at home on the relevant streams, you can only hear myself and Martin. You'll be pleased to hear. But obviously, yes, if you are a lip reader, you probably would have understood that, but I didn't really catch that out of the corner of my eye because there's so much action happening, because Konstantin Kletzer has now got past Rob Butler for P7 and Dave Marshall factoring very, very well. And one of the things that has impressed me about Dave Marshall is that despite this round and also for Barcelona, he has had the maximum amount of ballast in the first race, and irrespective of the amount of ballast that has been shoved in his car, he has still been able to be quite competitive, and that is the quality of a driver that can win a campaign there. That it's the consistency. It's not about, well, I could go all out and win everything, but then I'm not going to have the challenge. And with the fact that we've got all this ballast on these cars, it's quite interesting how it's changed everything. As Max Coates now sets the fastest lap of 1:29.666. So in many respects, Max now trying to close the gap on Max Bird, and the gap now is about 3 seconds.
Yeah, there's little straps going all over the place. Look at that for a great view.
Yep, we're looking through the rear windscreen of Alex Toth-Jones's car, the number 11, running in 12th place as they come across the start-finish line. Leaders are now currently on lap number 9 here at Brands Hatch. 8 minutes and 56 seconds to go, plus an additional lap. Looks like, unfortunately, Dusty Derrick has pulled into the pits, possibly to repair some damage there, I'm afraid. But Harry Omrod looking very racy on Alex Toth-Jones there, going through that part of the track. But again, Alex Toth-Jones just knows where to place the car.
Yeah, good solid driving, and he's carrying quite a bit of weight as well, Alex. So, I'd like to see him get to P10, but he's a little bit behind now. P10, pole for the second race. That would be... Oh, here we go. Oh, around the outside again. This is seems to be a new route for me.
I think this is a route that everyone has followed in the footsteps of Max Coates in. I think they're probably sort of like, what, is he sticking it around the outside of Hawthorns? Man's crazy.
Well, it's certainly a move to do virtually, because there's no runoff there if you get it wrong, you know, in a normal car.
And no repair bill. No repair bill afterwards either.
Correct.
So Max Coates is now closing the gap quite considerably. He's got it down from 3 seconds to 2.1. Chris Smiley is a further 5.5 seconds behind that battle, as Kenny Press puts in a personal best of a 1:30.551. And here comes Omrod up the inside of Toth-Jones, actually makes the move before, well, exiting out of Clark Curve. And
yeah, get the slingshot now. Here we go. And should stick it up the upside. Oh, he's going on the outside. It's well blocked.
Yeah, so, and he's still keeping it there and trying to do the cutback through Druids. That's a great move, because he's now going to try and nudge his way, and I mean that very, very nicely. And then, as I say that, you get a nice little tap from behind, and here comes Josh Stanson and Andy Mellors. They are absolutely waiting to see what happens. Andy Carroll's just behind this battle, which is being led by Harry Omrod now, as Alex Toth-Jones trying to keep Josh Stanton at bay as they go up, they go through Pilgrim's Drop under the bridge.
Here's the big snake. Here we go. Around the outside again.
Yeah, he's trying to keep it there as Josh Stanton, but Alex Toth-Jones being, I think, quite fair on his manoeuvre there, as Andy Mellors trying to go up the inside of Stanton through Westfield, now into Dingle Dell, and then it will be into Sheen Curve, and Josh Stanton trying to weave like a good one. Oh, the pair of them both go.
There you go.
That is definitely a... If you wanted to quote Tiff Liddell, that was definitely a Scandinavian flick moment, but that was unintentional completely. So Harry Omrod has gotten away from them, and that has put a distance between him and Andy Carroll now to about 1.35 seconds. Then Cobby Leakins has also gotten into this. Rich Hayden not too far behind either. So what was the forecast scrap is quite quickly becoming a 7-car melee. After all of that shenanigans just then, there's a bit of a bump on Cobby. He goes down around, and then Rich Hayden's got absolutely nowhere to go and just can't avoid T-boning the Alfa Romeo. That's a real shame for Cobby, who got attacked from behind by Josh Stanton, and then Rich Hayden completely unsighted on that.
That was messy. That was really messy. Right, what's going on at the front? Oh, yeah, Max. The Battle of the Maxes. Max Coates is flying here.
Yeah, Konstantin Kletzer now battling away with Isaac Smith, so it's Volkswagen versus Hyundai. All they tag. They're going through, I think that was Westfield, so down into Dingle Dell. And I must be completely honest that Konstantin Kletzer is holding himself to good account here and is keeping pace with Isaac Smith. And considering the fact that Konstantin was not with us last time out at Barcelona, obviously having other commitments. But yeah, the battle, it's Coates versus Bird for the lead. And I'm just really anticipating something rather quite interesting here, because Max Coates is just on a 1 minute. And there they are. There are the two leaders. 0.6 of a second. Max Coates was over 0.6 quicker on that last lap here at Brands Hatch. 4.5 minutes to go, plus an additional lap. We're now on to lap number 12 here. And this has just been absolutely brilliant all the way through. Just seeing how quickly Max Coates and Max Bird are now at loggerheads as we go through into Surtees. This is a real battle that you want to see. You don't want to see the leader getting away. You want to see them fight tooth and nail for the victory.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's what they're going to be doing very shortly. And yeah, Chris Smiley, he's the, I was going to say best of the rest, but P3, he's got a good gap to Senna Proctor, but these two are going to be right on it.
Yeah, very much the case, as we see that Max Coates sizing up Max Bird here. Not quite easy for the 71 Honda, as the number 12 is still up ahead at the minute. But this is just going to, I think this is going to go on at least another couple of laps as we go on board with Max Coates going through clearways. We're into Clark Curve, now putting the power down, so up into the rev limiter, up another gear. And now it's going to be about Max Coates having the run on Max Bird, heading down into Paddock Hill Bend, but Bird will go defensive now as Max Coates goes towards the outside. He'll try for the cutback going through on the inside curb. And remember, this is a blind apex up the Halewood Hill. Oh, that's a great turn of speed from Max Coates, but it's round towards the outside of Druids. He's going to try and get the switch back up the inside of the number 12, down towards Graham Hill Bend, goes towards the outside. He's going to place the car and try and keep it towards the inside and take a tighter apex. And he gets a good run coming out of the corner down onto the Cooper Straight. But Max Bird can just sense what Max Coates is going to do before he actually does it.
Great defensive driving and great offensive driving. Yeah, fair play to these two. This is good to watch.
So side by side going down Pilgrim's Drop down towards the Hawthorne Hill, and Max Coates towards the outside. That seems to be his favourite spot through here at Hawthorne's. And again, it's side by side over to Westfields. Max Coates was ahead briefly, and then again it went into the favour of Max Bird. Now through into Dingle Dell. The pair are still side by side. This is absolutely brilliant as they head through into Sheen Curve, and then they're going to go into the left at Sterling's. But the battle of the Maxes is absolutely captivating. They come through Sterling's down towards Clearways, and I think this is just going to go on until the checkered flag here, Martin.
And it's studying Chris Smiley. Chris is 5 seconds back. It's probably not enough time for him to get involved. But yeah, these two loving the racecraft here. This is really good from both of them. Sends a dummy one way, then the other. Max Bird not having it at all. Good driving.
Indeed. As they go up to Druids here. And there is Chris Smiley in the background as Max Coates gets very up close and personal to the back bumper of Max Bird, going through down the hill from Druids down into Graham Hill Bend onto the Cooper Straight. A little bit more runoff there used by Max Coates, heading up into Surtees. Down the Cooper Straight they go. And Chris has now got the gap down. It was about 7 seconds at one point. It's now gone down to 4.8. We've had James West overtake Alex Toth-Jones down for P14, but this battle again, we're going down into Hawthorne, so Max Coates is favouring that outside line, and he seems to really have that hooked up, and he's gone round the outside. Can he do it this time? Through into Westfield, he's got ahead of him. Howard passed, that was absolutely textbook. It was only a matter of time. It wasn't a case of if Max Coates is going to get past, it's when Max Coates is going to get past, and that was a brilliant, well-sized up manoeuvre there through Westfields.
He'd lined it. Yeah, he'd lined that up. He tried it the previous lap and just got that great exit and then nailed it. But yeah, Max Bird is still on it. it's not all over yet.
No, it is one thing to get the lead, it's another thing to keep it. But here are the two VRRC Honda Civics of Dave Marshall and Jack McIntyre. They've got Mikko Raskinen just behind in the Volkswagen Golf, rounding out the top 10. As the timer now ticks down, we are at 0 on the timer. So the next time around, it will be the final lap for the leaders. And Max Coates has already got a lead, about half a second. Chris Smiley, 4.6 seconds off second position, as McIntyre wrestling with the 37 Honda through Paddock Hill Bend, up the hill, up Hellwood Hill, down up into Druids. And again, Dave Marshall once more just showcasing how competent he is as a sim racer to not let an opponent pass, even though these two are the top two in the championship. They both have 150 and 140 kilos of ballast on their Honda Civics respectively. That will change for race 2. But this has just been absolutely captivating all the way through, Martin. We've had great battles up and down the order all the way through.
Yeah, it's not let us down again. We've had great racing throughout the series, and here we go again.
So McIntyre nearly being closed in on by Raskinen, as Isaac Smith has dropped all the way down to 15th position, and he's battling with Alex Toth-Jones for that particular place. The pair are split by about 0.6 of a second, but again, Jack McIntyre being hounded by Mikko Raskinen in the Volkswagen Golf, the number 26.
Yeah,
and it's not been easy for the pair of them, as the final lap board has been shown to the leaders.
see how Raskinen's jack off there, and he's dropped back, and here we go again. Final lap.
Yeah, so very soon it looks like the Max Coates has just powered away. He did say, well, hopefully I might be speaking to you later. I think he hasn't jinxed himself on that particular occasion, because now Max Bird, I think, has settled for second position, which means that this will be our 8th different winner from 9 different races so far, as Rich Hayden battling away with John Cole for what is 17th on the road. And at the minute we have, so we'll look at it from Rich Hayden upwards. So we've got Josh Stanton in 21st, Paul Laramie 20th, Kobe Leakins, Rich Hayden, John Cole, Alex Toth-Jones in 16th. Then we got Isaac Smith, James West, Andy Mellors, Andy Carroll, Harry Omerod, Mikko Raskinen rounding at the top 10. And there is our leader, Max Coates, in the 71 Elite Motorsport Honda Civic. And he is now coming through down towards Clearways and Clark Curve for the final time. He took pole position in qualifying. He also has the fastest lap. So it is a clean sweep for race 1 here for the 71 of Max Coates, who wins here at Brands Hatch Grand Prix. And look at the gap he's got between himself and Max Bird, because Max Bird will take second, Chris Smiley third, Senna Proctor will edge out Kenny Prest, or Willie, because Kenny Prest trying to close up on the Hyundai. It is absolutely nothing between them. So Smiley third, Proctor in fourth, Kenny Press in fifth, ahead of Konstantin Kletzer, who did a great job from around 13th position. Rob Butler, and good to see Dave Marshall keep himself in title contention with a 8th place finish ahead of Jack McIntyre. And here comes the rest of the drivers at the back end of the field. Looks like Andy Mellors is going to be behind Alex Toth-Jones, so Toth-Jones takes 15th ahead of Mellors. Cole, Hayden, Leakins, Laramie and Stanton will round out the order, but that was a brilliant battle between the two Maxes, Max Coates and Max Bird there, Martin, wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, very good, I do agree. And what I was saying at the start, that it was a race from the top of the guys without the weight, and then the ones in the championship, and championship leaders are championship leaders, and finish in the top 10. Very impressive. Ketzler had a great time. Absolutely loved it, obviously.
Yeah, I think he definitely wanted to showcase some speed in that Volkswagen Golf, and by golly, did we get that. So, yeah, up from, I think that was a gain of 7 positions, so that was a really good run. I mean, Rob Butler, you know, he was trying to be at the sharp end of the field. He's having to settle with another top 10 finish, but I think the consistency of some of the drivers now is really getting into this, you know, getting into a stride, and I think that's the case with Senna and all that. And That's Sarah Bird makes a very, very good point. Well done, Max Bird. Rematch when you have less weight than Max Coates, and we hopefully might see that in race 2 very, very shortly. But I will now jump down into the interview booth because we have our top 3. And well, someone who was saying, hopefully I might speak to you again a bit later. Well, you are speaking to me now as our 8th different winner from 9 different races. Congratulations, Max Coates. Well done.
Thanks very much. I think that's what weight penalties do for you, doesn't it? It's certainly been a mixture of different winners. Yeah, and maybe I can do what Senna did last time and win again.
Well, he also took the fastest lap in that race as well, 1 minute 29.17. But that was a great battle between yourself and you guys. You were trying to put it around the outside at Hawthorns. You managed to get the move done through Westfields in the end, I think, if memory serves me correctly. But hand on heart, a really good battle between the pair of you.
Yeah, I wanted to make sure I kept it clean. Max is obviously my teammate in real life, and we've got to have a good bit of respect for each other. So yeah, I think it was a good battle that I enjoyed. So I think again, just being at no weight and Max being I think at 60 as a new driver, I had a bit of a pace advantage as a result, and that helped me.
Fair enough. Well done, Max. Good luck for race 2 this evening.
Thanks.
So Max Coates, our winner for race 9 of the season, the first of. We'll now head to our 2nd place driver, Max Bird. Max, congratulations. I know that as Max was explaining that you had a little bit of a weight penalty. Obviously, you've taken Ryan Elliott's spot coming into the championship, but that was a good battle between the pair of you, wasn't it?
Yeah, no, it was a good race in the end. I was sort of just waiting for him to catch because I knew obviously he had no weight, and it was almost like it was just torture, really. I was just sat there waiting for him to catch me. But yeah, no, that we had a good little battle, and yeah, they made a good race, really.
And obviously now things will change a little bit for race 2, but how are you feeling sort of going into that particular race? Because obviously we'll have a reverse grid top 10. It will put the cat amongst the pigeons a little bit. How do you fancy your chances for race 2 here at Brands?
I think it'll be a good race because I think I was quite good on the first few laps, so hopefully I'll make up a lot of positions then and then try and sort of hold on to wherever I am, really, because obviously the weight does affect the tyres, I think, towards the end of the race. So yeah, we'll see.
Well done, Max. All the very best of luck for race 2 this evening. Okay, and last but by no means least, we'll speak to a driver that has made his 2nd trip to the podium this year, actually win at the 2nd round at Zolder. Chris Smiley joins us. Good evening, Chris. Hope you're keeping well. We'll just see if we... Yeah, good.
All good, thanks. Yeah, it was a long old race there. I really struggled with the car, to be honest. The tires, it took a long time for the tires to get going. Then whenever I got them on, the car was a bit of a handful the whole race there. I'm not really sure why. But yeah, it was good fun. I really enjoyed it.
And obviously coming back to your win at Zolder, where you there was some great battling there. I mean, that was the fast sections, but then, as you say, this is a track that you're going to be racing at in just a few weeks' time for the 2nd round of the revised 2020 Quick Fit British Touring Car Championship after the season opener at Donington Park. I mean, is this giving you an opportunity just to get yourself ready to go in the Honda Civic when you go out on the high-end i30 when you go out there with Senna for the first few rounds of the season?
Yeah, it's always good.
Yeah, well, all the very best of luck this evening, Chris, and who knows, we might speak to you again. Pretty good insights there from our 3 podium place drivers there, Martin. Good to see that. I'm hoping that we're going to have a bit of a ding-dong battle in race 2 very, very soon.
Yeah, I think we are. What's the situation with weight now? Are they carrying forward or new weights, or?
I think it's dependent on race results. So, to be honest with you, I think they'll probably be in the process of loading up the ballast on those particular side of things. So it always changes. But then, whenever we go into a race 1 for a new round, it's always dependent on the championship standings. So, yeah.
I just I really admire Coates' honesty there, and he didn't laud it with his with his race victory speech, but he drove very well, as did Max Bird. Nice one, Max. And the racecraft between them when Max was defending from Coates there, that was great to watch. And then Max Coates' racecraft trying to get past, throwing him a couple of dummies. It was good. Oh, here we go.
Right, race two.
Race
As
two.
we are underway here at Brands Hatch for 20 minutes. And now we get going, and it's going to be quite interesting how things pan out as they go into Paddock Hill Bend for the first time, as Chris Smiley looks up the inside of Max Bird, as it's nearly 2 by 2, a little bit further down the order as they go up to Druids for the very first time. And in many respects, Chris looks a little bit closer on that particular occasion. So yeah, it's going to be quite interesting. I think again, now that Max Coates will have a bit more weight on his car, it's going to change the dynamic of the race for him as Chris Smiley gets past Max Bird there, going up in towards Surtees off of the Cooper Straight. And there's a whole someone's been turned around and hit the barrier. Now, who was that? That was four abreast going into Surtees, and that never works well.
No, that isn't that wide. Oh dear. Just trying to see who's the victim there. No, it's not coming up on here, but I'm sure we'll get back to it.
Yeah, it looks like one of the Alphas. That's James West getting well and truly stuck in behind Konstantin Kletzer. So, in many respects, it's all kicking off up and down the order. Harry Omerod nearly goes sideways.
Right in the middle of it again.
Oh,
he loves it. He loves it.
So it looks like there has been a bit of a reshuffle because obviously with what happened. So yeah, it looks like we have got side-by-side action, and that is so there we have. Max Coates again looks to be away from everybody. I'm just trying to keep an eye on the timing screens because. So we've got Coates, Smiley, Bird, then you've got Proctor and Press again, and Max Coates already starting to eke out a gap of around about a second and a half. So realistically, we did say about you and I both said about this, Martin, at points during the season so far, that as soon as you get an advantage, you get some clear air, you can run away with it. But I think the way that Chris said, well, that I didn't know what the car was doing in the first race. Now that he's got an understanding of that, virtually speaking, he's going to be able to translate the Pollard skill into this.
Just getting some buffeting here.
So Chris Smiley looks to have pulled away from Max Bird to the tune of about 0.4 of a second, as he is now just really trying to move forward. There's Mikko Raskinen trying to move forward, and he's currently behind John Cole, who's rounding out the top 12 positions here. 17 minutes, 12 seconds, plus an additional lap still to go. And Max Coates now has a comfortable lead of about 2.7 seconds ahead of Chris Smiley. Max Bird is keeping in touch with the Hyundai in third position. Senna Proctor, our double winner from Barcelona, he is now up into P4. As there is Max Bird, as Max Coates goes quickest of a 1 minute 29.3. Sam Bird tries to look up. Max Bird tries to go up the inside of Chris Smiley there, and nearly got the move done. But I think Chris just was quite quick and wise to that.
Oh, here we go.
Tap from behind by Max Bird on Chris Smiley. So Chris there still keeping the number 12 Honda Civic at bay, but Senna Proctor now closing in. So it could be that a Honda is in between two Hyundais, and that is going to happen very, very shortly as they will come through Surtees. Just up behind them, Kenny Press yet again having another great result so far. He took a P5 in the last race, is now P5 in this race. So in many respects here, Martin, Kenny Press, I think, has been very, very much a tour de force, as they would probably say in France, with that Peugeot at the moment.
Yeah, he's had a good evening, and it's not over yet. There we go. Max Coates. The guys are scrabbling behind him, or scrapping behind him, and he's pulled out almost a 4-second lead. There we go, 4 seconds. So yeah, Max Bird driving very well, and you've got Senna there. He's just This is going to be good fun again.
Like we had in the first race, didn't we?
They do get their elbows out. It's funny.
Now I'm really wondering now, because Max Coates has just done a 1 minute 29.083. That is an absolutely barnstorming lap as Mikko Raskinen gets one sent up the inside of the number 26 Golf by Rich Hayden. Here's Konstantin Kletzer trying to fight his way past Rob Butler yet again in second successive race here at Brands Hatch. So Konstantin from Austria up the inside of the number 74 Honda as Butler runs a bit wide, and that was a very big run wide for Isaac Smith. James West down in 11th position ahead of Harry Omerod. It's not been a great race here for Alex Sloth-Jones. Again, he's currently down in 18th behind Josh Stanton, but is ahead of Andy Carroll and Dave Marshall. So this could be a real turning point here in the championship for Dave Marshall, because Jack McIntyre is in P6. Rob Butler P9 at the moment, as Isaac Smith has just got past the 74 Honda for position. But Konstantin Kletzer again showing the might of the Wolfsburg badge, isn't he there, Martin?
He is, and look at the race for third position. Well, even second position. This is going to be great fun. Here we go.
Yes, indeed. So, in many respects, it's going to be that much of a case where between Max Bird and Chris Smiley, you're going to have to fancy that Senna Proctor is... Oh, that was a bit of a lock-up from the left rear there of Max Bird. So not a good opportunity for him to try and get away from Senna Proctor. But then Kenny Press, again, there's a lock-up. I think that might have been from Chris Smiley on that particular occasion.
Yeah, I think what happens there with the weight they're carrying, and the car does go light on the rear right hand side. We go into Paddock Hill, and yeah, I think he just picked it up there.
Yeah, very much the case. With 13 minutes and 13 seconds still to go on the clock, last additional lap. And again, this is just what we have been seeing all the way through, not just this race, but the one before. That so many people have just sort of like gone, well, we're going to have a really good evening, aren't we? And I'm just sort of like thinking, oh, brilliant, that's all fine. Shall we go for it? And they've gone like, yeah, all fine.
Yeah, absolutely. And as you said before, there's no bodywork build, so let's enjoy ourselves.
Indeed. That's very much the case, and I'm sure that's what Max Bird is doing, is he's trying to close on Chris Smiley for P2 as they go under the bridge on the approach into Clearways. And I must be honest, Kenny Press again doing a sterling job. He's keeping Senna Proctor very, very honest in terms of the pace. And I've just seen that Kenny Press has just done a 1 minute 30.293, and that was nearly 0.4 of a second quicker than Senna Proctor. Now Senna's got a choice, as has Max Bird. Do I attack or do I defend, or do I work? But then you've got the plan C, which is, shall I just try and work with these guys and try and let's see if we can catch the leader? But with Max Coates being 7.6 seconds up the road, that is a tall order as we are fast approaching half time here in race 2.
Yeah, I think this is a race for second place. And I think Senna's probably doing the right thing. Let these two scrap. Let's see what happens. But Press is having a little look there now. He's going to get a little bit impatient maybe and go for him. And fair play to him.
Yeah.
So I think if I was Senna, I would be watching basically what's going on, keeping a clear position, keeping a focus on the championship, and seeing where he could come in, because those two are racing, and you can see there now Max Bird's fancying a go as we move out of shot.
Yeah, Konstantin Kletzer trying to close on Jack McIntyre, so in many respects that's still been a great battle so far. As we go on board with Max Bird, just trying to hustle his way past Chris Smiley as they go down the hill up towards Haywards Hayward's Hill up towards Druids, and Max Bird trying to go towards the outside of the corner. Oh, that's brave. If you are trying to put that round the outside of Chris Smiley at Druids, you have got absolute complete confidence in your abilities. But Chris Smiley still ahead for the minute as they go down the Cooper Straight, heading towards the left at Surtees. That was absolutely hot in the mouth moment there for us as commentators there, Martin, as Max Bird tries to go around the outside of Chris Smiley at Druids, of all places.
Oh, I just love it. Good on you, Max. Go for it. He's enjoying himself. He's racing against these guys with considerable experience and acquitted himself very well. And it's not over yet. He fancies this.
He does indeed. So second is within his grasp as we've got 9 3/4 minutes plus an additional lap still to go of this second race here at Brands Hatch Grand Prix Circuit in West Kingsdown in Kent. 2.433 miles, 3.908 kilometres. We're about to complete another lap very shortly, so Max Coates will have already gone up another lap into, and he's just put in a 1 minute 29.349. So that 71 Honda has got some considerable pace. So again, he could repeat the same feats the way that things are going at the moment, God forbid, of what Senna Proctor did. Take pole position, take 2 fastest laps in each, 1 fastest lap in each race, and take both victories. So he's looking very, very much the case of that. But there is an interesting statistic which I will mention at the end of this race, if it does come to pass, as Dave Marshall battling away with Rich Hayden, the championship leader coming into this round at Brands Hatch, against the man behind the Virtual Reality Racing Club, and also the bloke who just so happens to be the race director. That's one thing, to have 3 different roles in the same championship. As here comes Kenny Press towards the inside of Senna Proctor. The Peugeot makes the move. That's a great move there on Senna Proctor by Kenny Press going through Hawthorns. That was a great one from the Peugeot.
Yeah, it's absolutely stuck it on the inside. That was absolutely a great move. Very smooth. Here we go.
Yeah. Oh, a little bit of a touch.
Oh, look out.
No! Max Bird got past Chris Smiley, and there's been a bit of a rigmarole there between the pair of them. They have slightly tangled, and it put Bird up on 2 wheels. And you know what this means? That puts Kenny Press into P3. So this could be his first podium appearance, but then you've got Senna Proctor, who's been on the podium, I think I count 3 times so far. Isaac Smith has got Jack McIntyre ahead of him at the moment, just by a little bit of mental, sort of like a sized up calculation, that I think Jack McIntyre might lead this championship after this race, provisionally speaking, but also the results will be provisional pending any investigation post-race and post-evening. So what we will have is quite a lot of battling up and down the order through the next 7 7.25 minutes plus an additional lap, with Coates leading by an absolute gargantuan difference between himself and Chris Smiley. The gap now 12.2 seconds. Kenny Press in the number 5 Peugeot 308 is in third, ahead of Senna Proctor, who's only just 0.7 of a second behind. Konstantin Kletzer, it's going to be another top 6 finish with the way things standing at the moment in the 43 Volkswagen Golf, and he runs wide going out of Hawthorns, but manages to keep it ahead. So very, very well controlled there by the Golf driver, as Jack McIntyre now senses that he can get a bit of Wolfsburg blood here if he can try and send it up the inside of the 43. But then Isaac Smith getting ever closer. And let's not forget about James West, gamer muscle here, Martin. He took a P2 in the second race at Barcelona. He is on course for possibly another successive top 10 finish here.
Yeah, he's again another one enjoying himself. He's just watching what's going on, and I think there will be contact, and he's well placed to keep out of it.
Proctor's just jumped past Press. So Press has been.
Oh, there goes West. Is it West?
No, that was.
Oh
yeah,
no. Here we go. Yeah, there we go.
So looks like there's been a mistake.
He's done it.
Yeah, so James West gets up the inside of Jack McIntyre. Oh, this is getting really exciting, because let's not forget the top 3 coming into this round were separated by just 15 points. That was Dave Marshall, Jack McIntyre and Rob Butler. This, I think, has possibly changed it again at some point. But now Jack McIntyre is swarming all over the back bumper of James West for P7. Isaac Smith trying to get away from the Alpha and the Honda at the moment, going down Pilgrim's Drop into Hawthorne Hill. This is going to get very, very exciting very, very quickly as they go through Hawthorns. West trying to look up the inside of Smith for P6, but can't get through on Westfield. Through down into Dingle Dell as it sweeps up towards the right-hand side.
It's allowed Ketzler to get going. He's got the sight of press, so I think he'll be wanting to make a name for himself.
Yep, as West is capitalising towards the outside of Smith. They're going side by side through clearways. West round the outside. He drifts a little bit wide, a little bit of tail happiness there on the back bumper of the Alpha, back axle of the Alpha, but he manages to get through. Smith trying to cut through, sends in the dummy. McIntyre back in this quite considerably. And West manages to keep it ahead of Smith. There's McIntyre going up the inside of the Hyundai, up the Hellwood Hill, up towards Druids. There's a bit of a lock up there, I think, from Kletzer. But that was a great read there by James West of Gamer Muscle round the outside at Clearways. And that is a move you don't see very often at all either.
No, absolutely not. Here we go.
As Smith now bumping door panels with West, and West gets keeps the place going through Surtees. So James West doing a great job there to hold off Isaac Smith, but that has allowed Jack McIntyre. That was nearly 4 wheels on the grass there, I think, for Isaac Smith. Now I'm not too sure if there was the slightest amount of contact. Well, there is a bit of door rubbing there through into Hawthorns. West trying to keep it around the outside, looking to go up the inside through Westfields. And Smith has got the position back. So it hasn't been a case of like they've absolutely been slamming into the side doors of each other, but there has been a lot of rubbing between them. So some pixelated paint well and truly exchanged there. As here comes Rob Butler. Oh, banzais his way up the inside of Jack McIntyre, which means that the 37 runs wide. So this is a great battle. This is for P6. So really, really good to see a lot of battling between this rambunctious lot, as I'm going to now say.
I have to say there wasn't many manners on that, but it got the job done.
Hence the choice of words. But it's been stellar so far. I think Max Bird is recovering and he's now up into P12, having got past Josh Stanton for position.
Yeah, that was such a shame for Max. It's a strong showing again, but there's plenty of time. He'll be back.
So at the moment, with 2.5 minutes on the clock, it is Max Coates ahead of Chris Smiley. Senna Proctor looking to make what will be essentially his 4th podium appearance overall over the past 10 races. Rounds out the top 3.5 seconds behind his actual real-life teammates as well. It accelerates with the fantastic new Hyundai i30N TCR Saloon that will be gracing Donington Park on the 1st and 2nd of August with a 27 race calendar this year, not 30. But again, James West, I think, has really come good in this season so far, hasn't he, Martin? He's improved and improved. He got a podium in Barcelona in the 2nd race, but he's been doing really well, and he's keeping in striking distance of Isaac Smith here at Brands Hatch for the 2nd race.
Yeah, he's enjoying himself. That's a pretty livery. I think we all have soft spot for Alfa Romeos, but I've been told not to go in about reliability issues. Oh, there I go again.
Well, as I said, I've owned an Alfa Romeo myself personally, and they are fantastic drivers' cars. That's all I can say. And one of my friends actually drives a Giulietta to this very day, and he says, actually, the Giulietta is a really, really nice car. And thanks to the likes of Romeo, the likes of the Giulietta shape being used in touring cars, it's quite a nice side of things to see as we now head into the last 60 seconds. And I've said this before, I will say it again, as most commentators will do, Martin. If you're not talking about the leader, he's doing a very, very good job. 15.1 seconds is the lead that Max Coates now has, as we've got, so he'll basically go onto what is the penultimate lap of this race, and he'll probably get towards, I think, maybe around about sort of, I think, close to, he'll probably get to sort of maybe say Pilgrim's Drop or Hawthorne Hill before the timer expires. 27 seconds on the clock as he heads into Paddock Hill Bend for what will be the penultimate time. He's just put in a 1 minute 29.8 on that last lap. He's been running in the 129s all race long. So we now have a battle between Harry Omerod and Josh Stanton. This is for P12. Max Bird has actually got past the pair of these and is up into P10 as Konstantin Kletzer trying to close on Kenny Press for P4. As Stanton trying to close up, but loses a bit of ground to Omerod through Clearways and into Clark Curve. Then gets a tighter line through down the Brabham Straight. As the timer has now expired here at race 2 at Brands Hatch. Oh, Stanton gets a bit of a
well caught.
Slap. That was well held through Paddock.
Well caught.
Oh, crikey, that was heart in the mouth moment, I'm sure, from the 99. But here is Max Coates, and he's now going to go up Dingle Dell in towards Sheen Curve for the penultimate time. And here is Jack McIntyre and Rob Butler. Now, these two were just 13 points apart coming into this round, and they are on their way towards Hawthorns through Pilgrim's Drop. A really great showing from him at the moment, from Jack McIntyre, but Rob Butler has given as good as he can. There's the leader. Max Coates will now get the final lap board as Butler keeps McIntyre at bay. Just behind them looks to be Kobe Leakins as we are on to the final lap of this race. And this is where it just every single point counts, doesn't it, Martin, when it comes to a championship campaign?
Yeah, chasing down championships. Sometimes you just got to let them go and then keep right behind them. Don't throw away a hatful of points just for one.
As McIntyre trying to look up the inside through Clearways and gives a little bit of a love tap to the back bumper of Rob Butler's Honda Civic there. So pretty much even Steven between these two. But then you've got Kobe Leakins and Max Bird could be on course for a top 10 finish if he's very, very lucky here. Here's Harry Omerod, and he's got Alex Soth-Jones, Andy Carroll, and Rich Hayden in hot pursuit at the moment as they now go on to their final lap. But in many respects, it has been a truly dominant display so far from number 71 of Elite Motorsports, Max Coates, who is still 15.6 seconds up the road. And West and Smith still embroiled in this battle on the final lap for P6. This could go down to the wire, I think. If West gets a good run through Hawthorns and Westfield, he's going to have a run at Smith. I think possibly towards through Stirlings and Clearways. He'll have his opportunity if he can get close enough, but he might want to stick with the points. And then we've got McIntyre and Butler at it again. Max Bird trying to go towards the outside of Kobe Leakins. Gets the inside run through towards Westfields as Max Coates takes the double here at Brands Hatch, but McIntyre and Butler banging at each other's doors like it's going out of fashion. And Max Bird now up into P10, and I sense he could get P8 if he's very, very lucky on this particular occasion. And it's nearly 2 abreast. Oh, it's 3 wide nearly, and Max Bird trying to go towards the outside of Rob Butler. Is he going to try and do around the outside of Clearways? No, he can't get through. Is he going to get the cut back through Clark Curve? I think so. So up from 11th place. Oh, no, he's had a roll. There's been a roll. There was a proper roll there, and that was Rob Butler. So the pair came together. Oh, my goodness me. What a dramatic way to end our second race here at Brands Hatch, that we had a massive roll, and that was Rob Butler, who unfortunately would end up ending up in the pits. But Max Coates takes first place, and he also again takes another fastest lap, so he's repeated the feat that Senna Proctor did last time out. And we now have another podium appearance for Chris Smiley. He takes second, and Senna Proctor makes his 4th podium appearance of the season. As was that a little push from Rich Hayden on the back bumper of Andy Carroll, just saying, look, mate, if you run out of fuel, I'll just push you over the line. So that was one heck of a race. It looks like we will be speaking to our top 3 momentarily, but Max Coates wins ahead of Chris Smiley, Senna Proctor in 3rd, Kenny Press having his best results of the season so far. So let's head down to our interviewees. And first of all, 3 times in one night, you've done it again, Coatsy. A total maximum score. You've encapsulated the same result that Senna had last time out at Barcelona. Well done.
Thanks. Yeah, that was a good run. So got a bit lucky with whatever happened before the race to kind of give me the pole again. Sure, without that, it would have been a lot more difficult. But yeah, made it a whole lot easier.
Yeah, well, I think we'll have Martin Jones joining as well. So, Martin, I'll leave this one to you as well.
Max, great driving tonight. You must have really enjoyed that.
Yeah, thoroughly enjoyed it. So when I kind of got the break on the second race, I just thought, I wonder what kind of gap we could try and win this with. So I just got my head down and tried to go from lap 1, really.
Yeah, you could have had another couple of bags of cement in there and still got it home. So well done, mate. Wait to see. Catch up soon, dude.
We will do, definitely.
Well done, Max Coates, who has just equalled the feat of one Senna Proctor. So that means we have a double winner this evening here. And next up, second appearance on the podium this evening. Well done, Chris Smiley, second place. I know it wasn't easy for you, Chris, but obviously still to get a good set of results here at Brands that bodes well for Snetterton in a week's time.
Yeah, it was good to get a few solid results. The biggest problem I had tonight is that I'm wearing a virtual reality headset, and about halfway through the race, in both races, it steamed up really badly. I can hardly see where I'm going. So it was a bit like driving in the rain with slicks on. I couldn't see where I was going, but yeah, I'm going to have to do something about this virtual reality headset. It's 2 or 3 weekends now. It's or 2 or 3 race nights now that we've had a problem with it. So I think I'm going to have to invest in some TV screens. But yeah, it was great fun. I really enjoyed it. I just kept driving around at a pace, and yeah, I ended up seconds. Good points on the board.
Yeah, and obviously, you said about the difficulties in race 1, but obviously you used that, I would say, a lot better to help you out in this second race, and just to try and keep ahead of everyone else that was scrapping away behind you.
Yeah, I just kept going around. Max pushed me hard for a few laps, but I got back up his inside, out round the back, and I'm not really too sure what happened. He came across and he went off some way. So yeah, it was good fun. Really enjoyed it. Really enjoyed the race. Great fun.
Well done, Chris, and we'll see you next week at Snetterton on Tuesday night. See
you then. Thank you.
Cheers, Chris. Last but by no means least, again, a 4th podium appearance in the Virtual Reality Racing Club Touring Car eSeries. Well done, Sam. Bit of a good battle between yourself and Kenny in the sort of latter stages of the race, and that Peugeot has really come on strong in the past few races. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, he had really good pace behind me. I was trying to with the 110 kilos of ballast, it was very hard for me. I was trying to latch on to Chris and Max as much as I could, but they were a little bit too strong, and the 5 car was just catching me quite quickly. So I kind of knew what was coming, so I let him pass. I have bigger fish to fry. I've got the championship in the back of my mind as well, and then all hell broke loose in front of me, and I snuck through and got the podium. I was in the right place at the right time, and kept my nose clean, and that seems to work.
Good stuff. Well, I hope you're looking forward to the 300 layout of Snetterton, one that you know very, very well.
Yeah, looking forward to that one. Yeah, can't wait for that one. Brands Hatch GP was good to us, so it just shows that once those real racers kind of know the tracks a little bit better, we can pull a few secrets out and compete with the sim racers.
Brilliant stuff. Well done, Senna, and we'll see you next Tuesday evening at Snetterton.
Thank you. Cheers. See you then.
Cheers. Well, I think we have the man behind the virtual reality booth, Rich Hayden. Rich, another great set of races. We've had 2 drivers now, 2 double victories, and do the clean sweep of the board. Senna at Barcelona, and now Max Coates here at Brands Hatch. What are your thoughts after what's been a great evening's racing?
Yeah, good fun. Not a good track for me. Obviously carrying a little bit of ballast as well, but Brands Hatch GP is not my favourite circuit, and why I languished around at the back. But looks like it was good racing all round.
Yes, it was, and I think Martin would like to have a quick chat with you as well.
Rich, where were you?
Oh, no, please no. Brands Hatch is my nemesis track, and I struggled all week on it, and then struggled in both races as well.
Loving the series, mate, and thanks for your efforts, and Alex and Michael and everybody else associated. We at MSL absolutely love this, and yeah, credit to you. And Snetterton, you must know your way around there.
It's a bit of a better circuit for me, but I don't want to count my chicken.
Well, if I can't get you on the phone, I know where you are.
In the swim seat, that's right.
Okay, mate. Catch up over the next few days. Great. Good evening again.
Yeah,
Cheers.
thanks very much. Thanks very much, Martin. Thank you very much, Alex. And thanks to Mike for the stream as well.
Thank you very much,
Awesome.
Rich. So there we go. That really rounds up things here at Brands Hatch for round 5 of the Virtual Reality Racing Club Touring Car with MSL Motorsport Consultancy and heatingshop.ie. And I think, really, Martin, we go to Snetterton next week. That's going to be great because we've got a British circuit double bill here in the halfway points. I think the championships has been turned a bit upside down, but I think we're going to have some really good action next time out in Norfolk.
We've not been disappointed so far, have we? So bring it on. Looking forward to it.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, a big thank you to everyone that's been watching over the various streams. We will see you next week on the 28th of July 2020 when we head to Norfolk for the Snetterton 300 circuit for round 6 of the VRRC Touring Car eSeries with myself, Alex Goldschmidt, and Martin Jones, your commentators. Don't forget, if you want to get these cars that we're using in the VRRC Touring Car eSeries, make sure you keep an eye out for Tommy's touring cars, Tommy78. Get in touch with him if you want to race these cars on these particular circuits. Thank you very much for watching. We'll see you in just 7 days' time. Have a good night.